Thank you, Patricia. And I thank the Patent Office for allowing me to comment here today. I can personally vouch for Ms. Duran and her testimony here. I'm her husband. Her being alive today and our children still having a mother is a testament to a strong patent system. And moving forward, I fear that our current weak patent system will fail us not only in medicine, but in artificial intelligence, robotics, computer software, and many other disciplines. It reinforces what Patricia has already stated here. When it comes to patent challenges within the system Congress created with the America Invents Act in 2011, Congress unintentionally created an underrepresented class, the independent inventor and small business. And this brings me to my second minority woman, of whom I will quote House Representative Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas. Let's set the stage, shall we? June 23, 2011, the America Invents Act is being disclosed and discussed on the floor. Congresswoman Jackson Lee rises to offer an amendment, and she says, "My amendment speaks to the vast population of startups and small businesses that are impacted by this legislation. Small business makes up a large portion of our employer network. It is important to understand how they will be impacted as a result of patent reform." This is 2011, America Invents Act. She's on the floor talking. This sense of Congress, her amendment, will put us on notice that we need to be careful that we allow at least the opportunity of investment and investors, and that we continue to look at this bill to ensure that it responds to that opportunity. My amendment also reinforces that we do not wish to engage in any undue taking of property, because we indicate that we want to see the innovativeness of American businesses continue. And this one is key. Small businesses should be as comfortable going to the patent office as our large businesses. Then she provides her sense of Congress, her amendment, and she says, "We must always be mindful of the importance of ensuring that small companies have the same opportunities to innovate and have their inventions patented, and that the laws will continue to protect their valuable intellectual property. Without strong protection of patents, businesses will lack the incentive to attract customers and contribute to economic growth." So what happened to that investment that Ms. Jackson Lee mentioned? Well, according to the Alliance for the United States Startups and Inventors for Jobs, the USIJ, in the strategic sectors of core internet networking, wireless communications, internet software, operating system software, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, drug discovery, surgical devices, and medical supplies, venture capital funding has dropped from being 20.95% of the total VC funding in 2004 to a mere 3.22% in 2017. The VC money is gone. I hope to include this report from the USIJ along with my written comments here. Just like Representative Jackson Lee warned with her sense of Congress amendment, Congress was put on notice that they need to be careful to allow opportunity for investors. And Congress must continue to look at this bill to ensure that it responds to that opportunity. Given the evidence showing investors fleeing these sectors, now is the time to look at that bill and its consequences. Not to lawyers, not to big business, but to the true stakeholders, the American inventors. Where are they in the conversation? And are they being left out? Interestingly, Congressman Smith, as seen in the Lee-Smith America Invents Act congressional record, responded to Congresswoman Jackson Lee, and he said this. Immediately after she sat down, he stood up and said, "I want to make it clear that my interpretation of this and its intent is to highlight the problem posed by entities that pose as financial or technological businesses, but whose sole purpose is not to create, but to sue. I am talking about patent trolls. Those entities that vacuum up patents by the hundreds or thousands and whose only innovations occur in the courtroom." And yet, even more interestingly, it was just last October in 2018 when the director of this office, Director Iancu, called the patent troll narrative Orwellian doublespeak, with mentions that the patent troll narrative being synonymous with the fairy tale throughout. He did that in Texas. Others in the industry have even come forward saying that this was just a ploy by big tech to weaken the patent system. Director Iancu said in his speech, "In our zeal to eliminate, quote, trolls and the, quote, bad patents, we have overcorrected and risked throwing out the baby with the bathwater. This must now end, and we must restore balance to our system." So where is this imbalance amongst these two groups, the underrepresented and the represented? What can you not get from a PTAB post-grant review proceeding that you can get from the traditional Article III court? If we ignore now having no stacked panel, an impartial judge, a jury, full discovery, and presumption of validity that you do get in an Article III court, I'll summarize it in one word: representation. Per the 2017 AIPLA report of the Economic Survey, the estimated mean cost of a post-grant review proceeding through appeal runs at $450,000. This is how much it costs a patent holder for a single post-grant review proceeding. There are still problems with who are the real parties of interest. What about gang tackling and serial attacks, etc.? But for a single post-grant review, a patent holder, the independent inventor, will need just shy of $500,000. And with stats showing the kill rate for patents at the PTAB between 75 to 85%, no attorney is going to take this on contingency, especially when there are no damages on mere success at the patent office. This cost is on the inventor's dime. And this is just to reach the same state of reliance that previously existed on the day a patent was granted before the America Invents Act went into effect. In other words, if you don't have $500,000 to spare for a single patent challenge at the patent office, you will not find representation if you ever want to license your patent or someone does the math and challenges you, or if you want to protect your patent when someone else steals your invention. Is this a fair shake? Does a patent give women, minorities, and veterans any real benefit? Or all independent inventors, or small businesses for that matter? With a patent system like this, the question that arises, if you were to encourage these groups, women, minorities, and veterans, to get more patents, is not, what are we doing for them, but what are we getting them into? Because they have no idea. So what is the legislative recommendation that the Success Act is looking for from this office and from stakeholders? How do we create equal outcome so that equal opportunity even presents an incentive worth pursuing? That recommendation is this: the Patent Office must recommend to Congress that if Congress wants to keep their American Invents Act system that created the represented and underrepresented classes, Congress must recognize the underrepresented class in the statute. And doing this is simple. Recognize patents where the inventors or a small business owned solely by the inventors retain ownership of the patent. These are not the so-called patent trolls. These are the true American innovators trying to start a company in their garage. They are the ones who own their patents. They retain ownership of it. Establish and identify them, inventors who own their patents, in the statute. This is the true underrepresented class. Give them preference when it comes to their patents being challenged. If it's more economical and faster to go to the PTAB, then they'll go. If not, then they'll stay in the traditional Article III court. Give them proper venue, 1400B, in places where they perform the research, for example. The face of the patent says that the patent holder has the right to exclude others. They should have that right when it comes to injunctions. Once Congress does this, the playing field will be more level. Independent inventors and small businesses and all women, minorities, and veterans who reside there in those categories, they will all have a more equal outcome. And that baby that has been thrown out with the bathwater, as Iancu mentioned, will have been safely taken out of the bathtub before the bathwater has been tossed. And the patent bargain will be worth pursuing again for the underrepresented group to which you wish to promote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you, Patricia, very much for your testimony today.